Hello and welcome to the Django GraphQL Query Fundamentals course. My name is Xander. This tutorial is part of a whole course playlist available for free on YouTube. For deeper learning, the extended course is available for purchase at Udemy. Now you'll find all the resources and links in the video description. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for weekly promotions, discounts, and Udemy course giveaways. In this tutorial, we'll learn how to define models in Django, the part of your project that describes how data is stored in the database. So models are written in Python and they map directly to database tables. So they're the starting point for working with structured data in our Django project. So the goal here is to show you how to write basic Django models and understand how they map to your database structure. So back in this ERD, there is 8 entities or 8 boxes we're looking at here. Each of these entities are going to be then programmatically created in Django as Django models, and those models will then be used to create and manage tables in our database. So essentially what we're looking at here are the tables that we need to build and create in our database. So let's start with the category. If we go back into the app now, we should have the inventory section. This is where we're going to define our models. And inside of our inventory app, we have a model file that exists for us to then start building our models. Right, so let's take a look at this code. The first line from DjangoDB, import models. This is how we import Django's built-in tools for creating models. This gives us access to all the field types and model-related functionality Django provides. And then we define a new model class called category. It inherits from models.model, which tells Django that this class should be treated as a database model. So right now it is empty, so I've just added the pass here as a placeholder, and then later on we'll add fields to it. Now how Django handles this under the hood, by default, Django will create a database table name, which will include the name of the app, inventory, and then an underscore, and then the name of the class, in this case category, but using lowercase only. So this model here will be turned into a table in the database with this name. So that's going to be the name of the table that's going to be created from this model. So all we need to do now is to look through the entities that we have here and to create a new model for each of these entities. Right, so I've gone ahead and done exactly that. So I've created an appropriate model name based upon our ERD design for each of our models. As an optional step, we can see this in action. So now that we've created our models, let's go ahead and make sure that our containers have been removed. So let's remove any existing containers if you do have any existing containers. Once the containers have stopped, let's go into Docker Compose. Just remind ourselves, in actual fact, throughout this course, we won't be migrating these models to the database. They will simply be used as reference for Django to use and interact with the database. So here we have the fake option to fake the migration. Let's just remove that for now. So we go ahead and remove the fake option. So it does actually then get migrated at this point, so we can see it in the database. And then what we can now do is let's just run our docker up build d flag again to recreate the containers. All right, so if you go back into the containers, select your database, go to the exec, and from here what we can do is type in PSQL, which is the Postgres SQL command line tool for us to interact with our database. We can use minus and then a big U and then the name of our user, and then we can connect to our database, so a small d, and then our database is called inventory, and there we go. So we've now logged into the inventory database, and then we can run /dt to view the tables that we've created. And you can see here, if I keep pressing enter, we can view all the tables, and it looks like we've now created some tables in our database. You can see that the naming scheme is in place as I described. So we have inventory underscore and then the name of the class that we created for each of our tables. Now, if you want to rename the model, if that naming scheme isn't to your particular requirements, you can rename or manually define the table name in each of the models. So what you'll need to do there within your model is to set the meta class and then define the DB table and then define your custom table name. So this will tell Django to use this exact name rather than the default name that Django creates from the class name. Don't forget to revert the code back to the original fake option in line 39 in our Docker Compose file, and that's now our models created.